Have you ever thought about like making a living from your creative side? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, today we're diving into this YouTube video I saw. It's by Modern Millie.
Okay.
And she claims she has like the roadmap to becoming a full-time content creator by
Mm.
the end of the year. It's called This is How You're Going to Be a Full-Time Content Creator by the End of the Year.
Wow. Ambitious.
Right. And she has all these like actionable steps. I got to say, some of them kind of surprised me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, totally. Like
Mhm.
you'd think it'd be all about, making amazing content and
Yeah.
the followers will just like magically appear.
The if you build it, they will come approach.
Exactly.
Mm.
But Millie, she doesn't even start there. She's like all about clarity and planning
Interesting.
from the get-go.
So what's her take?
She talks about this whole idea of reverse engineering your success.
Reverse engineer.
Yeah, at first I was like, whoa, that sounds complicated.
Yeah, I get that.
But it's actually pretty straightforward, right?
Definitely. It's like starting with the end in mind, figure out where you want to be
Right.
and then work backward to see what steps you got to take. And Millie has all these great questions.
Oh, yeah, she does.
That really make you think about your goals, like deep
Yeah.
down what really excites you, not just like
Mhm.
what you think you should be doing.
I love that. Yeah, that's so important. Like, what kind of legacy do you want to build
Right.
as a creator? Or, what would you chase if failure wasn't even like an option?
Yeah, it forces you to think big.
It does. It's all about finding that why.
Absolutely. But I mean, what about those of us who aren't exactly sure what we want to do?
Right, right.
Some people need that clear vision first, but others, they find it along the way.
Totally.
It's all about figuring out your own creative process.
For sure.
But here's the real kicker. Millie says, set yourself up for success even before you go viral.
I know, right? That's what I thought. I was like, hold on. Shouldn't we focus on growing the audience first?
I would have thought so too.
Help me understand this.
So it might seem a little counterintuitive, but she's basically saying start building multiple income streams
Okay.
from the get-go, even before you have like tons of followers.
So you're laying the groundwork early.
Exactly, like building that financial stability. And one way she suggests is owning your audience
Mhm.
through an email list. Don't just rely on social media.
That's smart.
Another thing she talks about is creating digital products
Right.
that can generate passive income.
Okay, so you're not just relying on one source of income.
Exactly.
That's smart. I like that. And the cool thing is she actually breaks down this whole process
Mm.
of building income streams
This she.
in a way that's super accessible. Like she's got this whole system for creating a simple freebie to entice people to sign up for your email list.
Oh, I've seen those, like a free ebook or something.
Exactly. And then she recommends this platform called Stan for selling digital products. Have you heard of that?
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard good things about it. It seems pretty user-friendly.
Right. So she's like, really making it easy for people to take those first steps.
That's great. So it sounds like she's big on practicality, not just, vague advice.
Totally. And she's also big on researching what your niche neighbors are doing.
Niche neighbors.
Yeah, like other creators in your niche.
Oh, okay.
Not to copy them or anything, but just to kind of see what's working for them.
Makes sense. Like, what are they offering? Free stuff, paid stuff, that kind of thing.
Exactly. It can give you ideas for your own unique products or services.
Yeah, I can see how that would be helpful. Like, it's good to know what's already out there.
Right. And the best part is she even throws in this quick Canva tutorial.
Oh, Canva. I love Canva.
Right. It's so easy to use.
Yeah.
So even if you're not like a design pro,
Yeah,
you can create something professional looking.
totally.
It's all about removing those barriers to entry.
I love that. So she's really trying to make it as simple as possible for people.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that kind of ties into her emphasis on just taking action, not getting bogged down by perfectionism.
Yeah, that's huge.
Okay, so we've talked about clarity, planning,
Right.
setting up those income streams.
Mhm.
But now let's get to the heart of it, the content itself.
Right, because that's where the magic happens.
But it's also where a lot of people get stuck, wouldn't you say?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It can be really overwhelming, especially when you're just starting out. Like, where do you even begin?
All right, how do you make content that actually stands out
Right.
in this sea of endless scrolling?
So what's Millie's secret sauce?
Well, she calls content king, but she says strategy is queen.
Ooh, I like that.
She has some great tips on what she calls ideation,
Ideation.
which is basically like coming up with killer content ideas.
Yeah.
First, she talks about the importance of understanding
Okay.
the purpose of different types of posts. Like, are they
Mhm.
supposed to educate, entertain, inspire,
Okay.
or like convert your audience into paying customers.
So really thinking about the goal of each piece of content.
Exactly. And then she dives into these two key growth strategies.
Instagram.
SEO, which stands for
For SEO, yeah.
search engine optimization,
Right.
and then leveraging your niche neighbors.
Okay, so using what others are doing to your advantage.
Exactly. Now, I got to admit, when I hear SEO, I get a little intimidated.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It sounds super technical.
Like, don't you have to be some kind of, like, website guru or something?
You'd think so, right?
Yeah.
But Millie actually breaks it down in a way that makes sense.
Oh, good.
Basically, it's about using search engines, like Google and YouTube, to get your content seen. You want to create stuff that people are actually searching for.
So instead of just posting whatever comes to mind, you're being strategic about it.
Exactly. You're aligning your content with what people are actively looking for.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So it's like getting insider info from the search engines themselves.
It's like having a direct line to your audience's interests. And one of the simplest things Millie suggests is using those search suggestions as content prompts.
Oh, interesting.
Like if you're creating content about fitness, you'd type fitness for beginners into YouTube and see what suggestions pop up. Those suggestions are literally telling you what people want to learn about.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it takes the guesswork out of it.
Okay, that is super helpful. I'm going to try that.
Definitely do. And another cool technique she talks about is analyzing your niche neighbors' content.
So like peeking over their shoulder a bit.
In a way, yeah. It's about seeing what's working for them, what's getting views and engagement. Like check out their recent viral posts and their most popular content overall. It can give you clues about what your audience might be interested in too.
Okay, so we're getting all these great content ideas from SEO and spying on our niche neighbors.
Ethically, of course.
Of course, ethically. But now comes the part I always get intimidated by. Filming and editing.
The tech stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I always feel like I need all this fancy equipment to even get started.
I know, it can be overwhelming. But Millie's advice on this is actually really refreshing.
Oh, good.
She says, start with your phone.
Really? Just your phone?
Yeah, she actually suggests waiting to invest in any equipment.
Oh, yeah.
Until you've been consistently creating for a few months.
Wow. Okay.
That way you don't waste money on stuff you might not even need.
That's a huge relief.
Right. It takes the pressure off.
Totally. You can just focus on getting comfortable with the process first.
Exactly. Just start filming. Experiment. Find your voice. That kind of thing.
Okay, I like that. So what about later on, like when you are ready to upgrade your equipment?
Well, she does give some recommendations for cameras and stuff.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, she suggests the Nikon Z30 and the Sony's VT-E10 for beginners.
Okay, good to know.
But her main point is, don't get bogged down by the tech stuff in the beginning.
That's good advice.
Just focus on creating.
Okay, so we're filming, we're editing. Now, how do we make sure people actually watch our videos? How do you create that content that makes people stop scrolling?
The million-dollar question. Millie talks a lot about the importance of having a captivating hook.
A hook.
Yeah, something that grabs people's attention right away, especially in those first few seconds.
Okay, so like what kind of hooks are we talking about?
She breaks them down into 3 types: audible, visual, and textual.
Okay.
An audible hook could be something you say, like a surprising question or a bold statement.
Okay, I get it.
A visual hook could be something you do, like a funny expression or a dramatic action.
Okay, so it's like that visual element that draws people in.
Exactly. And then a textual hook is text that appears on the screen, like a catchy phrase or a list.
Oh, okay, so it's like you're hitting them with all 3.
Yeah, you're giving them multiple reasons to stop and pay attention.
Smart. And what about editing? Any tips on that?
Millie recommends CapCut. It's a free editing app.
Oh, I've heard of that.
It's actually really powerful for being free.
Cool.
And she says the key to finding your own editing style is just to practice.
So just keep experimenting and see what works.
Exactly.
I like that. Okay, so we're creating this amazing content. We've got our hooks. But now the question is, where do we post it?
Right, because there are so many platforms out there.
It's overwhelming.
It is.
Yeah.
And, you might think you need to be on all of them.
Right.
But Millie actually suggests something different.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, she says, start with just one platform.
Wait, just one?
Just one, and give it your all.
Okay. But doesn't that limit your reach?
It might seem that way, but she argues that spreading yourself too thin early on can actually hurt your growth.
Oh, interesting. So it's about quality over quantity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Master one platform before you move on to others.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What about how often you should post? Like, do you need to be posting every day?
Millie believes in consistency, but it's got to be sustainable. Don't burn yourself out.
Right, right.
Find a posting schedule that works for you. It might be 3 times a week. It might be once a week.
Okay, so it's really about finding that balance.
Exactly. Don't compare yourself to other creators.
That's good advice.
Do what feels right for you.
Okay, so we've talked about clarity, strategy, consistency. But how do you make content creation a career?
Right. Not just like a hobby.
Exactly. How do you make it last?
Well, that's a great question. And it's something we're going to dive into in the next part of our deep dive.
Ooh, I can't wait.
We'll explore Millie's insights on building a creator career that's built to last. You know, not just chasing viral fame that fizzles out.
This is getting good.
We'll talk about finding your rhythm, navigating those dips in motivation, and staying true to your vision.
Awesome. I'm excited to hear more. Welcome back. We're continuing our deep dive into the world of content creation with Modern Millie. Last time, we talked about clarity, strategy, and consistency.
Right, right.
And setting ourselves up for success even before we go viral.
It was eye-opening stuff.
It really was. But now I'm kind of curious about, the long game.
Ah, the long game, longevity.
Yeah, exactly. How do you make content creation a career? Not just like...
A fleeting hobby.
Exactly. Like, how do you keep going when the initial excitement fades?
Right, because it's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
So does Millie have any advice on this?
She does, actually. One of her key insights is that content creation can't feel like a chore.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's got to be a natural extension of your daily life.
So something you genuinely enjoy doing.
Exactly. Something that brings you joy, even when it's challenging.
I mean, that's true for anything, right? Like, even when you love something,
Yeah.
there are going to be times when you just don't feel like doing it.
Absolutely. Motivation ebbs and flows.
Exactly. So how do you push through those slumps, those dips in motivation?
Well, Millie actually talks about this dip that almost every creator experiences.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's that moment when, like, the initial excitement wears off and the reality of the daily grind sets in.
Yeah, you're putting in the work, but maybe not seeing the results you were hoping for.
Exactly. And it can be super discouraging.
It can be. So what does Millie suggest we do?
She says, keep going. Consistency is key. It's what separates those who succeed from those who give up.
So it's about building resilience.
Exactly. It's like a muscle.
Okay, I like that.
The more you push through challenges, the stronger you get.
Get better at handling those dips.
Exactly. And sometimes it helps to have support too,
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like a community or something.
Right. Like other creators who understand the struggles.
People who get it.
Yeah, people who can relate. They can offer encouragement, accountability, and just a sense of camaraderie,
Totally. Because it's so easy to get caught up in the comparison game.
Oh, especially with social media.
It's like everyone else is killing it and you're just like,
Struggling to keep up.
yeah. But when you connect with others who are on the same journey,
Right.
it reminds you that you're not alone.
Yeah. And that everyone's journey is different.
Exactly. Okay, so we're being consistent, we're building resilience, we're finding support. But what about those times when maybe, like, our strategy isn't working?
Ah, that's a good point. Millie talks about the importance of adapting and pivoting.
So, like, being willing to change things up.
Yeah, if something's not working, don't be afraid to try something new.
Okay, so how do you know if your strategy needs a shakeup?
Well, it depends on your goals.
Yeah.
Right. But one thing Millie emphasizes is not getting too caught up in vanity metrics.
Vanity metrics.
Yeah, like follower counts and views.
Oh, right.
Those things can be important, but they're not the only measure of success.
So what should we be focusing on instead?
Millie says, define what success looks like for you. It might be the impact you're making, the connections you're building, or the value you're providing.
So it's more about the quality of your work.
And the authenticity of your message.
And how it resonates with your audience.
Exactly. It's about building a legacy, not just a following.
Okay, I love that. It's about making a difference, not just chasing numbers.
Exactly. And that kind of leads into the business side of things.
Oh, right. Because content creation is a business.
It is if you want it to be sustainable.
Yeah, you can't just be creative. You got to be like...
Business-minded.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the part I think a lot of creatives struggle with.
Me too. But Millie breaks it down in a really approachable way.
Oh, good.
We've already talked about digital products and email lists, but she also goes into understanding your target audience, defining your niche, and crafting a compelling brand story.
Okay, so it's about packaging your skills.
and presenting yourself as a professional.
That makes sense. It's like building a foundation for your business.
Exactly. And Millie encourages creators to think of themselves as entrepreneurs,
Ooh, I like that.
not just artists.
So it's a mindset shift.
It is, and it can make all the difference.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from consistency to business.
Right, we've been through a lot.
But I feel like there's one more piece of the puzzle missing.
What's that?
Mindset.
Mindset. It's everything.
I know, but it can feel kind of like,
Elusive.
yeah. Like, what exactly is a creator mindset?
It's a way of thinking and approaching the challenges of this path.
Okay.
It's about resilience, self-belief, and being open to the unknown.
So it's kind of like an inner strength.
Yeah, it's that inner fire that keeps you going, even when things get tough.
And we'll be back in part 3 to dive into that mindset piece.
Can't wait. It's going to be good.
All right, so we're back, and we're finally tackling this whole mindset thing.
Mindset, yeah, it's a big one.
It is. But it can also feel kind of, I don't know, abstract.
Right, not always easy to define.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, what exactly is a creator mindset?
Well, it's more than just having the technical skills, you know?
Okay, so it's deeper than that.
Yeah, it's about how you approach the whole journey.
The ups and downs, the challenges.
Exactly. It's about resilience, self-belief, and being okay with not knowing everything.
So being comfortable with the unknown.
Yeah, embracing the uncertainty.
That makes sense. I think one of the biggest things that holds creators back is, like, self-doubt.
Oh, absolutely. That inner critic can be brutal.
It's the worst. Like, who am I to do this? Or what if nobody cares?
Right, those thoughts can be so paralyzing.
They really can. So what do we do about it? How do we silence that inner critic?
Well, Millie says the first step is just acknowledging those doubts.
Okay, so don't try to ignore them.
No, because they're going to be there anyway.
Right.
But it's about not letting them control you.
So how do you do that?
She suggests shifting your focus from perfection to progress,
So instead of trying to be perfect.
which is impossible, by the way.
Yeah, good point.
It's about focusing on learning and growing along the way.
Okay, so embracing the journey, knowing you're going to make mistakes.
Exactly. And those mistakes are actually valuable.
They're lessons.
Exactly. And Millie also talks about embracing your imperfections.
Ooh, I like that.
Because what makes you different is often what makes you stand out.
It's what makes you unique.
Exactly. So let go of that pressure to be perfect and celebrate what makes you, you.
This is so freeing. I love it. And I think this kind of ties into another point Millie makes about vulnerability.
Yes. Vulnerability is so powerful.
It is, but it can also be scary.
For sure. It's about putting yourself out there, even when you're afraid of being judged.
Yeah, it's about being real, authentic.
Exactly. And Millie believes that's how you build genuine connections with your audience.
Because people can relate to that, right?
They can. When you're willing to show your flaws, it gives others permission to do the same.
It creates a sense of trust and authenticity.
Exactly. And that's how you build community.
Okay, so we've talked about acknowledging our doubts, embracing imperfection, and being vulnerable.
Right.
What's the final piece of the mindset puzzle?
Confidence.
Confidence. Easier said than done, right?
It can be. But Millie says confidence is built through action.
So just doing the thing.
Yeah, showing up consistently, even when you're afraid.
Yeah. So the more you create, the more confident you become.
Exactly. It's like a snowball effect.
Okay, I like that. But I also think it's important to remember that everyone's journey is different.
Absolutely. Comparing yourself to others is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it'll just make you feel bad.
Focus on your own progress, your own wins.
Celebrate those milestones, no matter how small.
Exactly. Because they all add up.
This is great. I'm feeling so much more inspired and empowered.
Me too. And I think Millie's most important message is to just believe in yourself.
Believe in your voice, your ability to create something meaningful.
And share it with the world.
Wow. This has been such an incredible deep dive.
It really has. Millie's advice is so practical and insightful.
She's given us so much to think about, both in terms of strategy and mindset.
And I think the biggest takeaway is that becoming a content creator is about more than just making videos or writing posts.
It's about building a sustainable path that aligns with your passions.
And connecting with others in a meaningful way.
It's about embracing the journey and trusting the process.
And most importantly, believing in yourself.
So go out there, create something amazing, and don't be afraid to share your unique voice with the world.
Keep creating, keep experimenting, and keep diving deep.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the world of content creation. We hope you've enjoyed the journey.
Thanks for listening.